Right. Good morning, everyone. Rather abrupt end to the music there. Got me a bit off guard. Okay. Thank you for joining today's session. So hopefully you're looking at a screen that says automating expenses. Otherwise, I've done something wrong. Okay. So let me just introduce you quickly to our presenter, Harris. Harris, if you just want to say a quick hello.
Hi everyone, this is Qureshi. Happy to see you guys. I'm one of the integration specialists here in EMEA. Looking forward to having a chat with you all.
Cool. Thanks, dude. Okay. So like all things, we just had to put this caveat in. So if there's any data that Harris shows today, it's all fake, right? So it's not a version of anything. So it's all made up stuff. So just keep that in mind. And with that, Harris, I'll pass over to you, dude, if you want to take over.
Perfect. So, hi everyone. Really good to meet you all. And as we know, we are changing the name from cloud coaching to developer coaching. And it turns out I'm the first one doing this session. So something goes into the history. Today, we would be talking about automating expenses with OCI document understanding and receipt processing. We will be using the automation tool. Here is our safe harbor statement. For today, let me first show you what we will be doing today, right? So if you can confirm, you can see my browser.
Yep. Start requests.
Okay. So what the use case that we are covering today is how we can upload expense reports and then have a process approval process. There are a couple of things involved in this. So what you see here is our within Oracle integration, which is our business automation tool. The process part, I want to upload an expense report. Let's say I am going for a business lunch. Here is, I've got some receipts for that. So I upload a receipt. Let's pick one of the receipts. And what is happening behind the scenes is this receipt gets uploaded to our document understanding service, which is able to identify, extract key values from there, the merchant name, the subtotal, the line items, as you can see, right? And I need to provide some details. Okay, it's a meal. My cost center is sales. I've attached a receipt. That's good. Okay. Now, let me submit this request. Okay. And let's quickly have a look at the status of this, right? Okay. What you see over here, that this particular request went through an approval process and it was auto-approved. So it is already completed. And we have a decision rule in between, which said, okay, this is the cost center. It was for a meal, business lunch, and within the price, it goes auto-approved. Let me very quickly raise another request. Same thing, same receipt, same values. Let me even give a same purpose. But this time, rather than selecting meal, I'm just selecting a different expense type, which is entertainment, right? And when I submit this request, when this request goes through the approval process, what's going to happen is it needs my manager's approval. So it is in progress. It went through an auto approval decision tree, and the outcome was this requires a manual approval, right? And I've added myself as the manager. I can go, I can review, and I can decide to approve it or reject it, right? So today, what we are going to cover is basically look at the key components around how you can easily create this task in a process automation, how you can upload receipts, how you can extract data, and you can build a process and very importantly, a decision tree as well. Okay, so from an Oracle perspective, I will keep the presentation to the minimum, but just so that you know, Oracle is providing a complete ecosystem when it comes to AI. We have AI built into each and every layer. If you start from the top to the bottom, all our applications like Fusion applications, NetSuite, and industry applications, we are adding AI services for business user to consume right away. At the next layer, we have AI services like Gen AI, digital assistant, speech, language, document understanding that we are going to talk about today, where you can, as a developer, consume them as basic APIs. And all the services, you don't need to build any models, you don't need to build any machine learning over there. These are some which are services pre-built available for you. And we'll focus today on document understanding. Then at the next layer, if you want AI at the data layer, you need a data science, or we are adding it to within our database layer. For example, vector search or select AI, those capabilities, LLM is coming, data labeling is there. Those are platforms within the data layer, they are available. And if as a customer, you are looking to host your own models, you need GPUs, then of course at the infrastructure layer, we are providing it also. So today, the focus is on the document understanding service. What is the document understanding service? It is a service which allows us to upload any kind of a document and extract text. What we are providing, it has got multiple different capabilities, and we will look at that demo shortly, is I can easily extract text out of it, which is a normal OCR capability. I upload a document, and it will give me the lines and words of all the text. It is able to classify documents. So the demo that you saw earlier, it was able to classify that what I am uploading is a receipt, because during the upload, I did not provide that information. And it extracted some key values out of it, which as a receipt I want to read, like the merchant name, like the line items, and so on. It has, if you require to build some custom models, it has the flexibility for you to create custom models as well. So currently, when it comes to pre-trained models, we are supporting passports, licenses, health cards, invoices, receipt, and so on. But if you, for example, I've got customers who want to extract data from, say, a birth certificate as an example, and they need to extract data like the mother's name, father's name, kid's name, date of birth. So I can create a custom model using a custom data labeling service. So again, you don't need to write a single line of code. All you are doing is annotating it and creating your custom model. From the receipt example that you saw, and today's focus is on the receipt part, these are some of the key values that it can extract, right? So if I upload this document to the normal text extraction, it can read the text, but it does not have the intelligence to tell me whether it's a merchant name or it's tax or it's tip or so on. But when we are using the pre-trained model for receipt, it is able to extract these 9-10 fields. And similarly, if you are using invoices, there are like more than 30 fields. So that's where the intelligence of this tool comes in. Let's quickly have a look at where you can find it within your OCI console. I hope you are looking at my OCI console now. You must be familiar with the homepage. You can come into the options, analytics and AI. And within analytics and AI, you see all the different services that are available, right? So if you want to interact with document understanding service, you just need to go to the document understanding service, and it will bring you to this homepage. And there are certain basic things to know. You will have access to self-paced workshops, documentations, if you need to interact with, of course, the REST API, sample code, and so on. It gives you some details about this service as well. Let's quickly have a look, go through this service. So it has multiple features. On the left-hand side, you see what are the different options available. So for example, if I want to extract text, it can recognize handwriting, written documents as well, and others. So if I upload the same receipt document over here, let's see what it will recognize there. right? For the purpose of today, because I want to show you how it behaves with the same document with the different features, I will continue using the same sample, but you can, of course, upload any kind of a sample. So here was my receipt. And when I do the text extraction, what it is doing, it is recognizing specific lines or specific words, right? It can be useful for a number of use cases, but I want to know what is a merchant. But let's look at the other feature. If you have a document where it has multiple tables and you want to recognize tables from there, it is able to do that. So you would use the feature table extraction. And here you can see there is a document. It was able to extract the table. It is giving me information about the headers. What are the header information? What are the column information? And similarly, if I upload the same document, it is able to intelligently, because it's not dependent on a specific format. It is trained on all different kind of formats. So when I upload the receipt document, it is able to recognize this part, which recognizes it as a table. So you can see it says, okay, these are the different fields which are available. But now let's jump into the key value extraction one. As I mentioned earlier, within the key value extraction, we have multiple pre-trained models. So this file that you see, it's an invoice. So it can go and recognize different fields from like vendor address, customer recipient, subtotal, total tax, and line items as well. So I have different line items there and it recognizes. But let's look at the same receipt, which in my demo, which I called. So behind the scenes, it's basically calling the same document understanding service. And it is able to recognize, first of all, it as a receipt. Okay, it recognizes that it is a receipt, and then it goes and does its job that, okay, within this receipt, this is the merchant name, this is the merchant address, the transaction date is basically this, transaction time is this, and then what are the different line items? So chicken burrito, kids meal, large drink, domestic beer, all these different information are coming from that. And then you saw in the demo that, if I have that information, that what is the merchant name, I can actually fill it and you recognize it and use it in my system. One of the things that you also get in this interface, which I really like, is when I need to go and call the REST API, one of the tasks is to understand what how the REST API looks like, how to build the request payload. So here you can see that it actually gives you that request payload available. So what you see over here, the feature I'm using is the key value extraction if I need to build. And then within what is the input location, it's the inline document I'm uploading. You have the option of uploading the document into object store and run it a bulk, do the same task for bulk as well, bulk documents also. And then how the output comes out, this would be how my output would come in. First, it gives me some information about the metadata. What's the size of the document? How many pages this document has? It recognizes it as receipt. Its confidence is 1, means 100%. It recognizes it as a receipt. And then it goes in identifying different values with a confidence score. So what it will give me, like merchant name, it recognizes it as a key value as a merchant name, gives me the value, gives me the polygons from where it is extracting that, and it gives me a confidence score as well, what the confidence score is. So this is a very key one of our AI services when it comes to for you to go and read any kind of a document. We have pre-trained models, but at the same time, you can build custom models also. Okay. Let's jump to the automation part, right? Now, when it comes to automation, what you saw earlier, I was using one of our services called Oracle Integration Cloud, which allows you to connect apps and data. So in my use case, what do I need to do? I need to first upload documents, create a form, call document understanding service to extract the data. And once the approval has happened, I need to upload that into a backend system as well. So I can connect apps and data using the same service, I can automate processes, and I can innovate with AI. So this use case tries to cover all these three things. From a business automation perspective, there are different pre-built capabilities or different capabilities that you need, right? So again, you need to connect and integrate with different apps. So Oracle integration will allow you to connect with SaaS applications, on-prem applications, technology applications, things on Oracle Cloud or other cloud, and integration being heterogeneous, it allows you to do all that. Automate workflow. In many cases, when we are working with customers, we understand integration is one part. You need automation as well. You may need approval workflow. So in our example we will show you how to easily build a process. So from the demo, what is happening at behind the scenes, that's coming next. We have recently added within this kit of product is robotic process automation as well. So if you are using Oracle integration, and specifically we are in Oracle integration 3, you would glad to know that we have added RPA capability, and that is being GA as we speak. You noticed I used some decision rules. So when I used the first demo, it was auto-approved based on a certain decision. And in the next case, when I changed some parameters, the decision required was manual approval. So it has built-in decision rules. It has the flexibility. It is giving me flexibility to easily integrate with AI services like document understanding and have low-code front end, either via the Visual Builder or within the process automation. You can create forms. So for the automation, we will be using the process automation capability. And these are some of the features which I will talk to you step by step. So web forms, you can easily create forms where you can embed those forms into any of your application. You can create forms in a different application and you can embed those into process automation as well. You can create structured or dynamic processes, decision rules, and user management, connectivity, and analytics. All those are part of the same tool. So let's jump into and see what's happening behind the scenes. So this is process automation, and the process that we are talking about is what I created is expense report approval. So let me go into this. Okay. What you are seeing different options. So let's first see the process that we have developed, and then we will go into components one by one. So this is the process. You saw me submit an expense report. This is where I upload the document, fill the form, and submit my expense report. It goes through a decision matrix. We will see what are the different line items or what are the decisions I have uploaded. It can be via an API as well. You have some decision rules. You can build the decision rules over here. Based on the outcome of the decision, if the outcome is this expense is within the policy, then you can auto-approve it. Then it gets auto-approved, and there is a draft task right now. You can create an integration. You can push it to your backend system. And if the outcome is it requires an approval, then it goes through the manual approval step, right? Now, if I show you one of the human tasks, so what you are seeing on the right-hand side are the different activities. So wherever you see green, that's the human task. If I look at the property of this, what I am actually doing here, I have a lot of capability here. In this case, this is a line manager. It's a role. I can have multiple people assigned to this role. And here you can see there are different policies. Anyone who is assigned to that role can go and approve it. If I want my line manager or a specific person to approve it, I can actually go in and change that to management chain and sequence, or I can actually specifically say individual assignee, and then I build the logic, okay, based on this person who's asking for approval, I want a specific person, maybe the first line manager, to go and approve it. Then one of the things you would see, okay, what are the buttons I need? It's approve, reject, and then which UI to use. So here you see which UI. So I have different options. So we will look into the UI shortly. Let's look at the UI before going forward. Okay. Now, if I come into the UI part, this is the form that you saw me at the start when I start the task. This is basically the form. Okay. if you look into this UI, we provide all the basic components that you would need to create a form, basic to complex. You have like, I'm using input text, emails, URLs. I want to add advanced file managers, upload file, or I want to have tables, repeatable things, dividers. And you notice we have added the AI service document understanding part of this. So when you are using process automation, and you want to get benefit of the document understanding, what I just showed you, you can interact with that via the APIs. In this case, you can just use this document understanding AI case, and I will show you shortly how you can utilize that. Now, if you notice a couple of things here, for example, if I look at my expense type, this is my expense type, and here, you have a lot of properties and information. I can bring in the data. I've used it all static. But if you have a lookup and you need to bring it from a REST API, you can use the connector, for example. There is one thing which you would notice that when I'll go to the demo, one thing you would notice that I have, for example, a total value over here. And when I change this value, I want an action to take place. Not this one. I think it's okay. So if I want to take an action, I can add events and I can make that action on that. Let me quickly see where. I think it's. Yeah, anyways, I missed out on that one. Anyways, so you can actually, if you want to add actions, for example, when something changes, you want a function to be called and you want to calculate something or you want to add a value, you can easily do that going over here. One of the things that we find when we are creating processes that as we are moving into the system, in my case, it's a very simple process that I send an approval, then a manager needs to approve. Now for the manager, I need just certain information to be added. So what I can do in that case, I can use my basic form and I can create a different presentation. So when I create a different presentation, it gives me the option to, you want to start from scratch, or you want to clone the current one, or you want to customize the current one. So it will create, keep all my basic elements that I have added over there, and then I can add on top of that. So in that regard, what you see, we have multiple options over here. So the default one is submit expense report. The approve expense report is the one which goes for the person to approve. So the basic information remains the same, but for the approval, we have added another task over there where we want the approval manager to put his comments over there. And for the resubmit, we want to show the outcome, and we want the person to take action and correct. So this helps us from a development lifecycle perspective. I don't need to create a UI every time, but as you would appreciate in a process, in many cases, from one person to the other, the basic component remains the same. In some cases, you may have an example where the manager may want to look, let's say you are building a process for leave approval. And for the manager, they might want to see how many leave this person has remaining. So we don't want them to go to a different system and find out. You can actually just create a presentation layer, adding the basic information when the person is applying for leave, and then his or her actual within the backend, what leaves they remain. So it makes it easy for the manager to make his or her decision. Okay, so that's the UI part. Now, the second thing that we noticed, so I should have, one second. The second thing, apart from the UI, was the decision metrics. So let's look at decision rules. And here, what we are doing, the first thing is we are passing certain values, which is our recipient data, which we have created as a type, which is adding 4 different values. But the main thing over here that I want to show you is my decision tree. So what you noticed, and we will do that demo one more time, is that here I have the main rules that I have added. I have added rules based on the policy that these are the different cost centers. And based on the cost center, if the value, for example, for the 9022 cost center, which is the product development one in my case, anything which is less than 50 is approved. So when you see a dash over here, that's basically, okay, what is the value is being entered is true, false, any, or you can add advanced and you can add your own values over there. Expense type, any expense type. So for this person or this cost center, anything under 50 gets auto approved. But for these two cost centers, only fuel and meals, these are the two expense types which are auto approved. Otherwise, a manual approval is required. And then greater than 50, it is auto rejected if the receipt is not provided, or if the receipt is provided, then you need a manual approval. This is just a simple example. You can create your own decision trees based on that. So what we do, once the expense report is uploaded, we pass these 4 parameters, mainly the receipt is attached, expense type, cost center, and what's the amount value. And based on this, a decision is taken whether the output is auto approved or a manual approval. And that is what we are returning as a final decision. Okay, so if you get auto rejected, we return auto rejected, and if it's manual approved, then we return as manual approved. So where is it being used? Let's go back to our process. So this is where we start. So if you would look at the properties of this, now having looked at the UI, you notice that I am actually using the submit expense report. Then I'm calling my decision rule. And if you look at the data mapping of this is where I am actually, we have a array over there. And here I am mapping those 4 different key values. So I'm mapping the cost center, the expense type, the receipt attached, the receipt ID, and the total amount. These are the 5 values that I'm mapping. After that, the outcome, it would be one of the two. Either it is auto approved or manual approval required. So here are the outcome. Sorry, there is the reject as well. So if it gets rejected, it goes for the resubmit. If it is auto approved, then it goes for the next step. There is no manual approval is required. And if there is a manual approval, again, based on the cost center, in my case, the amount, whether the receipt has been attached, and what is the type of expense they are raising, it goes for manual approval or auto approval. When it comes to the manager, if you look at, again, the UI, this time I am actually using the same UI, but I'm using the different presentation. So the presentation, I'm using the approve expense report because I want to use the basic form and I want to give this person a place to add comments. Same, there are data associations here as well. So the mapping would be done between the submit expense form as well as the approve expense form. Okay. And finally, if it is approved, then again there are 2 things. If it approved, goes back for approval to the backend system, and if it is rejected, then we are mapping and sending it for a resubmit. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at our example one more time. But before that, let's look at one thing in the UI, which I wanted to show. Because I forgot to show you the document understanding part. Okay. So when you look into the UI, this whole bit is mainly this AI service document understanding. So when you drag and drop, you get this option, drag and drop where you can drag the file. This is showing the image of the file, and this is showing the fields. Okay. If you look at the properties of that, it basically showing me that I have selected receipt. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it is showing me, okay, what are the type of documents I can add. So you can control that. Maybe in your case, you just want them to upload PDF, so you don't enable JPEGs and others. What is the type of document? As I said, from a document understanding service, it currently supports multiple pre-trained models. So it is calling the pre-trained model. In my case, I'm using the receipt. In your case, if you want to use it with invoice, all you need to do is change it from receipt to invoice or passport or driver license. And then it gives you the option for creating and generating these text fields. So I don't have to go in one by one, create that. It automatically does it for me. It gives me the option that the data that I'm showing, if I want the confidence score to be part of it, or I want to show warning if the confidence score is less than that. So with a simple selection, I can do that. Do I want to hide documents upload or document preview? Those are the options. So if I do this, hide, that document preview goes away, but I want to show that, and so on. And what are the kind of messages I want to provide, as if the document has been analyzed correctly or there is an error and things like that. So all those options are there for me. So let me show this part in another manner for you. So let me add a presentation just for scratch. Let me call it test presentation. Okay. So if I bring in the document understanding element here, so here you see what I was mentioning, right? Now, when I go over there, it asks me which document type you want this to be for. So in my case, it was receipt. Then it generate controls. I click on generate controls, and it has behind the scenes done all the mapping, the response that comes from the API and where the data comes through. So I don't have to write any line of code to use document understanding service as part of process automation. And here you can see all the fields that gets uploaded, right? So for me to use document understanding as part of process, these are the 2 steps that I need to do. It's as simple as that. Okay, now let's go back to the demo part. Let's close this. Tasks. Okay, let's start a new request. And what we did as a demo earlier, let's do that one more time. And then I'll take questions. I can see there are quite a few questions piling up, so we'll do. So here you can see this is me as a user. I come over here and I need to submit an expense. I drag and drop a receipt. Let's select a different receipt this time. Business lunch. It picks up that receipt. There are all the different fields it has mapped. The total example, a cafe is basically the name of the merchant. Different line items, Americano and water, that's all there. If I want to make changes, I can. And my expense type is meals, and this is sales. Receipt is attached, and let me submit. Okay. Now, if I go and look at the audit of this, what is happening behind the scenes? As you have now seen the process, we can actually open it side by side. Here you can see this is all the information that was added for the expense report. It went through the approval, auto approval. So it sent these 5 values, which was the cost center, expense type, receipt attached, receipt ID, and the total amount. And from the decision tree, because it is 9023 and it is meals, and it is less than 50, the outcome was auto approved, right? And when it goes auto approved, then it's completed. The task has been completed. There is no approval required. If I have added the integration part, it will go for the integration per se. So in this case, as you can see, it went through this cycle, which is the auto approve one. Now, let's do it one more time. Uploading the receipt. And let's choose the expense type as entertainment here. Rest, we keep the same things. And submit it. And here you can see that when we went through the approval step, the information was the thing that we have changed. The only thing that I've changed is the expense type, right? And for 9023, the only thing which was auto approved was the expense type meal and fuel. Anything else, even if it is less than 50, needs manual approval. So that's why it went for the manual approvals task. And now, as a manager who needs to approve, when they come for their tasks, because I've just added myself to that role, I can see the team tasks. I can see there is an expense awaiting for me to approve. I can see, okay, these are the values, and I can decide to approve or reject. If I reject, then it will go back to the user to go and submit again or give the reasoning. Okay, so this is how you can easily build your automation workflow within process automation. And if you want to use document understanding as part of this, you can easily drag and drop document understanding element to your UI. One of the last things, because we are looking at process automation, let's look at one very interesting bit, which is the analytics. What is the advantage of using an automation tool? One of the key advantages is the analytics that you get and how it can help you improve your processes. One of the things when I'm working with customers, I always tell them that when you are going to the digitization or the first time, a lot of time people take this opportunity to improve their process. That's a very good thing, but at times it delays you the whole process for you. So sometimes you can start with an existing process. Maybe there is a process which you are going through emails or manually. You just build that process and then analyze it. Once you start using it, it will give you a lot of analytics to improve it as well. So here in analytics, you can see, for example, I have, expense report approval. We have 15 completed processes. There are 6 in progress. There are 17 new created. The average time I'm taking is 14 seconds because I'm using it for demos. When I click on that, it gives me a lot of statistics. Like on 28th of October, when I was testing it, it was taking a little bit longer, 59 seconds. Maybe I was doing a bit more, but in realistic, it would be days and sometimes weeks, which we don't want. If I click on the process details, you get to see all the details. So in the past week, as I was preparing for this demo, we can see that there were 17 requests raised, 11 went through auto approval, 6 went through approval. Every task over there, how much average time it's taking. So for the approve expense, it's taking on average 51 seconds because I'm doing it very fast. And here, when I click on it, I can see, 4 got completed, 6 are unclaimed, so nobody has claimed it. And what is the average time? If I go for the past month, and you can see the values have increased a bit. The thing that I want to show you on this, here you see it's the 2 Harris, but mainly it is a different user for me. I've got 2 users in the system. The first name is the same, but it shows you that on average, when you are analyzing which person is performing or picking up these tasks and how many they have approved, and you have furthermore granularity available as well. Now, if you have Oracle Integration Cloud 3 available, if you are using process automation, how you can build this, because end of the day, this is developer coaching, right? I want to give you a way to be able to develop it all by yourself. So one of the good things about this is what I have demonstrated to you today is a recipe available to all our users who have process automation. So when you come to process automation, you click on create. There are multiple options. You can create a brand new process application. You can import, you can create a decision tree, or you can create an application from a recipe. So when you click on recipe, you see that we have provided a number of examples and recipes. Things like you want to work with request leave, approved credit line, code discount, and everything has got documentation available with this. So the process that I showed you is the expense report approval. You click on select, you provide it because it's already there. So let me create that. And that's all. Following these 2 steps, create, choose the recipe, and then create the application. The demo that I have shown you would be available to you. All the specific things, and this is the reason that I did not make any changes to it, that what you have seen here, you can go implement it or start learning from that, because the recipe is very good because it covers a lot of key things. You see how the process is created. You see how you can use the decision tree. You can see how the UI is created. You can see how document understanding service is getting used out of it, right? So yeah, in the PDF document that you would receive afterwards, in the resources, I have actually added the documentation link for this recipe as well. That's all that I wanted to cover today. Let's see if there are any questions. It was so quiet. I don't know if you guys are still there.
There is a lot of questions. Yeah, I'll let you answer them as best you can, Harris.
Sure.
To everybody on the call, there's quite a few, right? So, and thanks for submitting them, by the way. But what we'll do is Harris will do his best to answer them now. Anything he can't answer, we'll follow up on Slack after the event, or if you're not allowed to join Slack, if you email your question, we'll ask Harris to respond to that. Thanks, Harris. By the way, that's a very tough finance department that you're dealing with expenses there. But anyway,
tell me about it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that, dude. I'll just run you through a couple of changes that are probably you might not be aware of. But first, actually, let me just launch a poll, and I'll explain exactly what that one is about in a second. So there's a poll on your screen now. So the way this works, about 80, it's the usual 80-20 rule. So 80% of what you request, we'll try and deliver. Now, Violetta, who for some obscure reason decided she needed holidays, Violetta and myself go through this, and that's what we base all these events on. I'm actually a Tory, to be honest. But so we go through and try and schedule those events. So 20% would be kind of new releases and stuff like that we'd cover anyway. So what you vote for here, just keep in mind there's a lag. So we have to book people like Harris months in advance. So technically Violetta and myself are in February now. Okay. But so whatever you vote for there, we'll follow up with. So I'll just leave that up for a moment. There's a couple of things, the rebranding, as you can see, is started. So Harris, you're the first and the last. Last of cloud coaching, the first of developer coaching. So you're in a unique spot there. There is a couple of registration links. If you're on the developers events page, feel free to use the registration. It's all the same thing, to be honest. So pick and choose whichever page that you want to go to. I put some QR codes. Honestly, I can't remember which is which, but you can QR code and get a surprise. Okay, so that's available. Something that you probably might not have seen is My Oracle. Your My Oracle support look and feel is going to change, and there's a couple of other ones they're putting in as well. So if your support's one of those things is nobody cares until they really care, and then they really, really care, right? So I'd go have a look at that. It's on the support page. They've got a new look and feel, but there's a lot of other changes as well. So that begins kind of November the 11th. So it might be worth just taking 5 minutes out of your day if you can and having a look at that. There's a really great website, oracle.ai. There's a ton of resources there. In fact, I saw some hours on people looking for live labs links as well, by the way, just FYI. But um, if you want, please have a look at that. Again, I'll share this PDF. You'll get a copy of it. So you know, don't have to write down all the links if you want. To be fair, that was pretty easy. But you'll get all those links if you want. That portal is definitely worth a look, by the way. As per usual, we've updated a load of these. There's a ton of stuff that's available. You can have a look when whatever is convenient for you. I won't bore you to death now because we're coming up to end time. So feel free to have a look about them. We are trying to do more and more of these 5-minute videos. In fact, Harris, I think we'll be annoying you for another one, but that's so they're easy to consume. So you can have a look at that if you want. Okay. With that, we're going to finish. I'll just, Harris, is there any ones you want to answer in particular? Do you want to go through them, or what way do you want to do it?
Yeah, I am answering some of them.
Okay.
I'll pick up a couple of questions because there was one question.
Yeah, cool.
If there is a live lab for this, so I showed you in then that for this particular one exactly, there is a recipe. So I showed you how you can create the recipe. There are live labs available for process automation. So if you go to Oracle Live Lab and search for process automation, you would find different live labs. And I know there is a live lab which shows how to use process automation with invoice use case. So yeah. There was one question, can we upload multiple receipts? Yes, you can upload multiple receipts. Actually, in the demo, I should have shown, but you can just click on plus and you can upload multiple receipts. There are a lot of questions about language, what languages we support. So currently, officially, we are supporting English, but very soon we are adding multiple languages. There are some beta programs going for a number of specific languages. And in the next months, we are hoping to make all of them GA. Yeah, that's all for now. And as Tom said, we will look into those questions. If I get the email, I'll provide you. But there is a Slack channel. Please join that. You can ask the questions over there. I personally monitor that Slack channel also, and a lot of our team members monitor that as well. So we'll be happy to continue this discussion over there. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Harris. Appreciate it. So Harris will try and answer another few while I'm finishing up. So the OCI community, I posted in the Q&A. If you need a link to join us over there, again, sorry to drive this home, but we'll be renaming that channel today. But honestly, I'm going to do a big announcement over there as well. Well, just not a big announcement, an announcement to say, look, we're just renaming it, so you'll see it before it happens. So with that, if you can't use Slack, feel free, contact -dcx-emea_ww@oracle.com. So if you have problems with Slack, feel free to email us and we'll get back to you as soon as you can. With that, thanks, Harris. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Thanks for all the questions. And hopefully we'll see you all on the next one. Look after yourselves and have a great day.